it's become really customary here on the show that anytime we've got a guest host, I ask them about their experiences around Jake. So, what can you tell us about first meeting Jake, experiences around him, etc.?
We traveled up and down the road here in Florida, in the Carolinas, in Georgia together, and the territories that we were running up in Ohio, Michigan, and West Virginia. Jake and I always were friends. I mean, I don't know if it goes back because I was good friends with Grizzly when I was first starting in the business, as was Jack, Grizzly being Jake's father, Grizzly Smith. And in Oklahoma, he was one of the guys really that got me watching weekly professional wrestling. They had one of the bloodiest riots they've been. The Kentuckians with Grizzly Smith and Big Boy Brown was the Kentuckians. We went to Kentucky, two big old boys that wore overalls against the masked assassins, Jody Hamilton and Tom Renesso. It was the biggest bloodbath feud I'd ever seen in my life. And it got me every Saturday night. And back in Oklahoma, that wrestling didn't come on until 12 o'clock at night. So you had to stay up real late to watch it. Or as you got home from being out late, you were watching it. I was a schoolboy at the time, and it really got me hooked on wrestling, along with my hero growing up. Danny Hodge was on there all the time. So, but yeah, so anyway, watching Grizzly, then meeting Jake, having a chance to travel around the road with Jake was a unique experience. I mean, we enjoyed our bad habits, smoking a little cannabis here and there, or a lot of cannabis there and here, however you want to put it. But we enjoyed each other's company. I love listening to Jake's stories. Jake's stories on the road was like Jake's promos. You just listen to them. I mean, you just bent over and you listen to them. Jake always had that unique ability to spin a story where he got your attention. So the road trip with Jake were really, really unique. I don't know if Jake ever told you this story, but when we were going through some problems in Georgia, and we were looking for a booker, I was on Barnett. I had a couple Gary Hart and a couple other guys I was wanting to bring in as booker and relieve Ole of his duty because business wasn't sucking. We're doing really good. On the surface, it looked like we were doing good because we're hitting those 3 states, which nobody had hit in years and years, and we're doing bang out, sell out business up there. I was doing the promotion up there, and so we're making money. But the Georgia in general was sucking, and so we're looking for bookers. I was working Florida full time. Jake was working Georgia full time. I go up there, and they have me going over Jake in a match. And we'd talk to Jim Barnett. We being my brother Jack and myself, talked to Jim Barnett about a couple of Gary Hart was one of them, and Jake was the other about being a booker. And well, yeah, but you can't let anybody know what you're doing. So I'm working with Jake. We're there. You couldn't talk to him in the dressing room because every ear in the dressing room was listening to what Jack, because they knew we were unhappy with the way the direction that Georgia Championship Wrestling was going. So couldn't talk in the dressing rooms or anywhere like that, or be seen out. So we're in the ring, 15, 16,000 people in the Omni that night. And I'm supposed to go over Jake. So we're working along, and I finally said, "Hey, Jake, would you like to be booker?" "What do you mean? Would you like to be booker and Ole and this territory and replace Ole or work with Ole?" "Well, I don't want to work with Ole, but I'd be glad to replace him." I said, "Okay, well, have your word? We'll talk later on." I said, "You got my word." I said, "Well, DDT me beat me. But you're supposed to go over. You're supposed to go." I said, "I don't care. You're the booker. I'm putting you over tonight." So Jake DDT me, and 1, 2, 3, he won the match. We got back there. Of course, Ole hit the fan. "What the hell is going on out there, Brisco? You're supposed to be. You're coming back with Soto, blah, blah, blah." Said, no, we changed our mind out there. It was going so good. I felt that Jake should go over. And Ole threw up his hands. Whatever, he knew he couldn't win that battle. So, yeah, so I made Jake the booker in the ring and changed the finish where he beat me. I mean, how many times does that
happen? Man, what an experience for Jake. Hell of a night for him there in the Omni.
Yeah.
Man.
So that's my main event story with Jake Roberts.
That is so cool, and that is actually I was gonna play that clip of Jake telling that exact story. It's from February 5th, 1984.
Well, play it so I can hear it because I never had that. I'd like to hear Jake's story.
Yeah, let's get Jake's account.
Sunday, the Omni always ran on Sunday. It was a big deal in Atlanta. And I look on the card, and I'm booked against Jerry Brisco. I'm
That's
like,
a good
holy
opponent.
shit, Jerry Brisco. What the hell am I doing wrestling him? I don't need to be doing jobs already. You know, that's what I was thinking. So I'm kind of antsy about it, waiting to talk to him, and he's nowhere to be found. The matches start. We're on fourth. He's nowhere to be found. Second match is over. He's nowhere to be found.
Oh, Lord.
Third match is in the ring. And just as it's over, I catch a glimpse of him running to get dressed. Well, they had me go to the ring. I went to the ring. The bell's ringing for him. He finally comes running out to the ring. We get in the ring. We start wrestling around, blah, blah, blah. Nothing, just doing our stuff. And we build the match. Got the heat going. He started making his comeback and told me to cut him off. And I'm like, cut you off? Because I thought he was taking it home. And I cut him off, and he said, DDT. What?
All right.
So I hook him, and I DDT him and cover him. And he says, do you want the job as booker? And I said, hell yeah. And he goes, don't take anything less than 100% control. Okay.
Wow.
And that's how it happened.
There it was. That's Jake's account.
That's awesome. But the reason he couldn't find me, I was in discussion to Barnett how I was going to pull this thing off. And Barnett and I were secluded back in the back office there where nobody could find us because I wanted his attention, didn't want any interruptions. So that's the reason Jake couldn't find me. But that's a true story, man. Jake was nervous as hell, and I knew Jake wasn't really happy. He just come in. We promised him a push, and I'm coming in, and all of a sudden, I'm going over him. Well, number one, that wasn't right. And that's one thing I think you can look back with my brother and I. We were totally unselfish in the ring when it comes to that. We didn't care about winning and losing. We cared about drawing money. We knew that we would be coming back and we could put ourselves in a good position the next week and get that win back somehow, and big deal, you're going to lose to one of the top stars in the United States at the time, Jake Roberts. So it wasn't a big deal to me to do it. And Jack and I had talked about it, and I told Jack what I was going to do, and he really liked it because it was something that wasn't done very often, but yeah, that was it. Jake, I've never worked for it. Jake, oh, are you sure? I said, yeah, I'm sure. Beat me. You're the booker, but I got that out of him right before I let him beat me. Are you taking the job? If he would have said no, I can't. Then all right, I'm beating your ass.
Now, was part of having Jake pin you also kind of to go up Ole's ass sideways a little?
Exactly.
Oh, man, great stuff, and really cool to hear both of your accounts of the story. And I am curious too, Jake, from a worker standpoint, would you say that you were pretty impressed with him and his work rate?
Oh yeah, I'm highly impressed. I always thought Jake was one of the best damn workers. I mean, set the promos aside because I don't think there's too many people in our business ever that could cut promo like Jake. But his work inside, whether he was babyface or heels, and he was one of those talented guys that could work either side of the coin. It didn't matter to him. Just put me in a position that I could draw you some money, and that I knew that if we treated Jake Roberts the right way, we could draw money with Jake.
Yep, and him being part of the Legion of Doom down there, the original Legion of Doom, I would say that was a money angle, and the stuff he was doing with Ronnie Garvin, man, a fun era in wrestling.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, we look back, and I mean, honestly, these kids today will look back and say, man, we had a great time, and good for them because they are. But in our mind, the old school guys like you and me and Jake and some of these others, what are they doing? It's hard to understand, but you can't criticize the money that they're drawing now, and so more power to them. I hope in 20 years, how many years it's been since that clip that that they had as good a time as my brother and I and Jake and the guys in the business.
Yeah, it's incredible, but that's 40 years ago this year
Wow.
that you and Jake had that match,
Wow.
and the Black Saturday happened.
Damn, Jake is old.